Hi, I'm Barrett, and this is the first devlog for the game I'm building called Hot Rod Racing League. I've been making this game for about a month now, and this is a first in the series of devlogs I'll be putting out to provide updates on the development of the game. A bit of background. I grew up playing games since I was little. Some of my earliest memories are that of me playing on the NES and the PCs at my dad's office. I don't know why they had games on there. They sold brakes for cars, but hey, I wasn't complaining. One of the first PC games I played on there was this racing game called Skyroads. It was a simple game really, just get to the end of the track, but the soundtrack and the graphics at the time and the fact that it was set in space.
The one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
5-year-old me's mind was blown. Since then, I've played a lot of racing games and it is one of my favorite genres, and I'd like to think I'm pretty decent at them. NFS 2, Most Wanted, Twisted Metal, Mario Kart and Trackmania have been some of my favorite games over the years. I even used to make my own tracks on Trackmania and challenge my friends to race on them. So I decided I was going to go back to my roots and start making a racing game, specifically a Hoverbike racing game, because I never got to play HRL in Destiny and I'm pretty salty about it. But Bungie doesn't seem like they're bringing it back, so fuck it, I'm making my own. Also Bungie, come on please, bring back HRL. I want this game to be an arcade-style kart racer and have pickups and abilities for some added gameplay elements. Something I also want my game to have are the kind of tracks I could make in Trackmania, with curves and bends like the old Hot Wheels racing sets. Do they still make them anymore? Oh wow, they do, huh. Another gameplay element I want to include is some drifting. I've always found it super satisfying to drift around turns and corners in Mario Kart and NFS, and I definitely want the game to have that. After I prepared a game design document and formed the core idea, it was time to start working on it. Where do I start? I decided I was going to make the game in Unreal Engine. Why Unreal over Unity? Well, just look at this. Unreal Engine looks sick. Like, look at that. That lighting, that detail. This honestly feels like the future. Unreal has these two features, Lumen for lighting and Nanite for rendering high detail environments for a very low GPU cost. Besides, I already knew C++ pretty well, which is what Unreal uses, as I used to be a developer. And back in high school, I made my own Dangerous Dave clone called Joe Barron using C++ and its graphics plugin. I looked up some tutorials and started where everyone starts, with some Unreal Sensei tutorials. I made my first environment, made a game with blueprints, and I was off to the races to make my racing game. So I had no original assets or any modeling skills at this point. I decided to use placeholders for the time being. Bungie, don't sue me over this, please, I love you. Moving the vehicle wasn't too difficult, but making it hover, that was a bit of a challenge. But I found some blueprint tutorials online and was quickly able to implement one of the solutions I found. Basically, the way it works was that the pawn cast 3 rays to the floor below, forming a triangle. Based on the information it received back, I was able to calculate the surface normal, and I used that normal to rotate the hot rod and set the hover distance at 1 meter. Moving the controller stick moved the raycast, and the vehicle moved itself to right above where the raycast's normal was. I also added a camera behind the hot rod which I could move with my right analog stick. It also came back to the default location once I let go of it. At this point, I built my own hot rod using some kit bash pieces I bought online. Kit bashing is the practice of making new models by using parts from different kits, a term that's used in movie special effects and prop design. And hey, if kit bashing was good enough for the original Star Wars movies, it's good enough for me. While I don't think this is going to be the final model I put in the game, it does look pretty neat if I say so myself. Now it was time to start playing around with the physics of my hot rod and the driving mechanics.
2 seconds later.
It became clear to me that blueprints just weren't going to cut it. Even after the bugs were ironed out, the vehicle didn't feel the way I wanted it to feel, and I knew it was time to start coding. I signed up for a Udemy course for Unreal Engine C++ coding with Stephen Ulubari, and honestly, I can't recommend the course enough. I'll leave some links in the description if anyone wants to check it out. Udemy has sales going on all the time, so keep an eye out if you're interested. Fortunately, I was able to pick up the coding really quickly. My experience in coding before helped tremendously, and I was able to get up to speed for the topics I wanted to tackle fairly quickly. So with some of the course done, it was time for me to start coding the physics of the game. And just like with the blueprints, the first issue to tackle was the hovering. While the previous solution worked, I felt like I needed a better and a more reliable solution for the hovering system. Looking online for solutions, I found a couple of really cool sources that led me to learn about barycentric coordinates. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the math, but this visualization helps understand what barycentric coordinates are, where any point on a triangle can be specified by using these coordinates. And guess what is a triangle in a game? Everything. Every surface of geometry in the game is drawn with a combination of triangles. So all I had to do was draw a raycast to the floor, find the barycentric coordinates to find the normal, and to rotate the hot rod accordingly. Simple. Well, it wasn't that simple. But I made it work. With the hovering out of the way, I finally coded the physics of the hot rod and the drift mechanics. The way the drifting works in the game is that there are 3 stages of drift you progress through as you drift for longer, with each progressive stage having a tighter turning radius and a faster turning boost. Once I had the vehicle ready, it was time to start making a test track. I started learning Blender modeling, and obviously, like everyone does, I started with Blender Guru's donut. I signed up for another Udemy course, started modeling my track, and I had a track in my hand. I slapped a couple of textures I found in the store on this bad boy, found a skybox like in Skyroads, and I worked on the post-process material for the game. The game doesn't look like I wanted to just yet, but it'll do for now. I also managed to implement multiplayer in my game, and while it doesn't work perfectly, at least I can see my friends in the game, although to be fair, it does feel like a Skype call in 2007. I added these checkpoints just for respawning in case I fly off the map, which I often did, and putting it all together, I have this. I feel really good about the pace at which I've been able to develop this, and I'm super excited to keep working on it. Most of what you see only took me 5 weeks to do, and I can't wait to show you guys what I'm building in the coming months. My hope is to have one racetrack and a couple of hot rods ready and developed by the end of April, and I'll be sure to put out another devlog before that time. Thank you all for watching, and please leave a like or a comment. Oh my god, I'm that guy right now. Please leave a like or a comment with your thoughts and feedback, as I'd like to know what you guys think, and it also really helps out with the algorithm. Also, please subscribe if you want to keep up with the development of the game. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next devlog. Peace.